Hey everybody, it's Jen Wig here with no one else other than the famous Neil Richmond. Yay!
Famous. I'm not so sure about that, but I'm here. Let's put it that way.
You're famous.
So
I
no.
know you're famous. Today we're gonna
Yes.
do Digital Skills Lab, Social Media Essentials. I'm sure you're gonna teach me something. What are you gonna teach me, Neil?
Well, let's see. I wouldn't call myself a social media wizard, but here's what I'm looking at today, and it's all focused around how to sort of immerse your students into the world of social media, starting with understanding where they are and what they're using. And so I'm going to share some resources. I found look, I was going to replicate some of this into my slideshow, and I realized there was just too much good stuff on this one site. So I'm going to actually use it as a tool and show you how you can use it with your students to do some training. So the whole goal of today is to really help your students understand and realistically some of the staff maybe to understand the different social media platforms that are out there and how best to make use of them in just in everyday life. So that's the goal, and so I'll do is I'll launch into my slideshow here and we will roll. So like I said, social media essentials. A couple of our goals for today is to sort of understand first and foremost, what are your students' social media, usage levels and understanding. That's an important part of the process. And then look at the social media landscape, what's out there, and build some resources that you can use. Are you seeing this presentation?
Nope, not yet.
Oh, I wonder where I'm going here. Too many moving parts today. I'm on a one screen, and that always kills me.
Ain't
Go
yet.
back. Um,
I don't know
so
how to use a computer with one screen
I
anymore.
know that's what I'm worried about now. I don't know how. Let me try again here. How about that?
Now we got you.
All right, good, good, good. Um, so yeah, understanding your students' social media usage, looking at what the social media landscape looks like because it's continually changing. And staying up to date with that is important. And then I'm going to share this resource, like I just said, where I think you can really take advantage of this with the students to help them understand, or staff. If you get a staff member who says, I don't understand Snapchat, something like that. Here's a great resource to be able to dive in and get some good basic understanding of it. But let's start with this. This is an activity I think you could do with your students in class that would be a great starting point to really understand where they sit in this particular space. So this is called a concept map, and you can have a diagram like this. I think it probably would be helpful if you had a version up on a board, on a white screen or something like that, whiteboard, so you could scribble in on for yourself so that you could help guide this discussion. But what you want the students to do with something like this is in the center to have them put their name, identifying who they are, and then in the circles around that, to put them, have them write in the social media apps that they use. So Facebook, maybe it's, can't think right now, TikTok, et cetera, around the circle. Then from there, in these little lined areas here or down next to it, have them write the language that they use that platform in. Because the reality is, more than likely, some of the students that are going to be struggling in the world of social media are students who are also not native English speakers, it seems. And so in that process, that will be helpful for you to sort of understand that. And then on these lines, have them write in the names of some of the people that they expect to see there when they go there. So, for example, for me, probably my primary social media is Facebook these days, and I'm probably looking to connect back with some people in Australia that I know through there. That's certainly one of the ways that I use it. Realistically, I know for a matter of fact that if I go visit a website, I'm going to see ads from that site or maybe some of their competitors. So I'm going to Facebook to actually do some research because sometimes I find some of the best new solutions by that strategy to reach out, see what some of my family members are up to with their lives, things like that. Those are all the reasons that I'm heading there. And so I can list out some of the names of some of those people who I'm looking to see there, and then have them think about and maybe write in what's the purpose for using this app. So Facebook for me is primarily research and connection. All right. Instagram might be to see some photos of somebody who's traveling, or food. Actually, quite frankly, Instagram is food for me. Food and golf is what I see a lot there. And then lastly, have them think about or write down, what do they share when they are on that platform? What is their typical sharing mechanism? And I will say, for me, that's not a lot these days. I go in, I read and that sort of thing, and occasionally I find something that I think is interesting for somebody. My sharing is typically more one-on-one, where I'm sending something to someone versus sharing en masse. But occasionally I'll see something I think people will like and share. And after you do that, you could take and turn that into a nice little chart for yourself and try to understand the social media usage of your students. And so on the left here, you would list all of the social media platforms, and then maybe keep a tally of how many times it's mentioned by your students, who is going there. Is it friends, family, people they don't know, what languages, the purpose, how long are they spending, and any other information, and really get a snapshot of what is going on in their world. I think it'd be a real good activity to do with students, and will open up some conversation, but it'd be really good to see what that usage looks like as well. Because if you are going to provide some resources and some direction, it'd be really good to know where they are. What are they using? What aren't they using? And that sort of thing. And sort of start to roll from there. So with that in mind, I sort of look at the landscape a little bit, and let's first of all back up the train and go, okay, in general sense, in our society, what is social media for? What is it used for? Here are some six things that people often will do using social media. The first one is, can I find something interesting? I'll raise my hand and say, yeah, I use that a lot. I'm not looking for anything, actually. I'm just jumping in and I might find something interesting. And I'm one of those people that definitely goes down the rabbit holes and comes out about a week later on stuff. And so that's a big one for me. But there are others who are there, because they are looking for some particular content from a company or a place or something like that, or a person maybe. Some are there because they're trying to help solve a problem. Whether you think of it as or not, YouTube is a social media platform. And often people are going to YouTube to solve a problem. I don't know that I would go to Facebook ever to solve a problem. And type that in, other than maybe on a purchase side, which is another category completely. But I tell you what, here's something interesting I'm seeing, and it's I think growing. TikTok is becoming a platform to solve problems. You go to TikTok and you type in something you're trying to solve or fix, and there's usually always somebody who's got a video that's dealt with that. So knowing that's the way that things are used, helping your students identify and direct to that could be really helpful. Then there's research. That's a big part too, just trying to work out what solutions are out there for a particular thing that you're trying to do, or what information about it. Or in my case, I'm looking for a recipe, let's say, for something that I'm interested in. I want to see a bunch of different options. And so I might go to Instagram for that, or I might go to TikTok for that. Again, I probably wouldn't go over to Facebook necessarily for that, even though they have some of those things in there. Then there's, of course, purchasing and links off to purchase and that. And I'd say Facebook probably does the best job on that. Instagram is pretty good as well. A lot harder in TikTok to make purchases or get links off for that, but that's also a part of it. And then lastly, the reason that people are jumping into social networks is so they can share their experience with others. And jump in. And there are certainly some scenarios. I've used YouTube for that a lot. In fact, if you go there and search my name, you'll find some old videos that I've made for various things. That might be a little scary, but if you want, go have fun. But that I thought is important too, because there are different platforms that answer these questions, and knowing that is an important side of things. But it's an activity that I would do with students as well, to try to identify, what do you use the different platforms for? Or when you're wanting to go find something interesting, where do you go online? What do you do? I would say some might just Google it, but a lot of people are jumping into a specific platform these days to find answers. The next thing I thought was interesting is to actually look, and this is stats from 2022, so a little bit dated, but we still have Twitter, we don't have X, but a lot of stuff will not update on that sense for a while. So from a marketing perspective, where are people going? And that's where this one came from, and I thought it's probably still indicative of certainly a middle, I'd say 30s and older generation. Maybe the younger generation, you'll see it upended a little bit, where the Snapchat and the TikTok is way more prevalent. But think about it this way: probably for a lot of the students in your classroom, 91% of them, of the social media usage is spent at least at some point on Facebook. So knowing that, if that is indeed what you're, when you go through and complete this, and you see, oh, wow, there's so many more that are on this versus another, you want to make sure you have resources that adapt to that. So the way it looks right now, Facebook, then Instagram, then LinkedIn, then YouTube, Twitter, X, TikTok, Snapchat. And again, that's very general. And that's what we've seen for a lot of years, but the age group that you are working with will somewhat determine what that graph looks like. And like I said, creating your own graph would actually be a really good idea and a good resource. So given all of that, I thought there's no way in the world I can cover all of these in our little session here. The best thing I can do is lead you to a resource and show you how it works, and plug some things in there. So on that spirit, I found this site, GCF Global. We'll put the link in, and so forth, and we'll head over there in just a minute live so you can see it. One thing I discovered really quickly, every time you load the page, the colors change. And so if you go there and it's not light green like you had in your screenshot, it could look red or purple or orange or something like that. It's totally fine. You're good to go. One tip immediately is to help your students create an account in this system. So there's a login page there where they can create that account and then log in down the line. Why? Because they'll be able to go in and continue to track their progress. And I think that's an important part of the whole user experience. Okay, so let me head on over. So it was green and now it's purple with all of that. This is the social media suite on GCF Global. And we'll pop that into chat, so that's available there. But this is the tool, the resource that's there for everybody. And with this, you've got a whole bunch. Instagram, you've got even including some things outside of social media, Zoom, blog basics, learning WhatsApp. I see value in this because I think a lot of international students use WhatsApp, but a lot of the staff in your program probably have no idea about WhatsApp and where that fits and where that works. So this would be a great training for them. Facebook, and then Facebook for iPhone. So they've made a special training specifically for iPhone users. You got YouTube, you got LinkedIn, You've got Meetup. Don't see a lot of stuff with that today, but that's another one that's available there. Pinterest, Skype, Snapchat, and then Twitter. Again, not changed to X yet. Appreciate the opportunities to do all those sort of things. And so let's jump in on the one that we've so far expressed as probably the big one, Facebook, and just take a look through what that training looks like. They do have a YouTube playlist to go along with this, where you can go over to YouTube and grab some videos that you could show in class. So that's another cool resource that's in there. And notice it says log in to save your progress. So that's how you can sort of work through one of these courses and go back to where you left off. Probably one of the limitations is their language choices are very limited to Spanish and Portuguese. That's all. They don't have many language options. But I think, part of this is helping them to learn the English side of this anyway, with it. So here are the pieces that they'll cover: what's in Facebook, getting started, understanding Facebook privacy, adjusting settings, and then actually using it, how to use different features, and then some of the other elements that come with that. So these are all lessons that are included with this. So if we go to the first one, what is Facebook? I would say probably not a lot of people on the planet who could say, I've no idea, never heard of it. Most have. But, that being said, even though they are the biggest social network, I don't know that we could definitely say without a shadow of a doubt that every single person knows about it. So you've got some good content here. And then it even walks through, what is Facebook? Okay, you can see updates and posts from friends. You can share with friends. You can share information on your page. You can invite friends to join groups and events. Oh, another great idea that I came across that I thought would be a really good one to use in class too, and that is to encourage usage of Facebook by helping students create accounts. This actually does that, and then create a group for your class, and have everybody in the class join the group. And maybe they could post their concept maps we talked about and things like that. That would be really helpful ways for them to actually learn how to utilize the system. They can connect with, can chat with friends. They can connect with businesses and celebrities. And then there's other things that are able to be plugged into it and so on there. So there's a lot of things. Plus they can use their Facebook account to log into a lot of sites, including this one down the line there. So then they sort of talk you through how does Facebook sharing work and being able to adjust your privacy settings and things like that. So that's what a lesson looks like. And then you can click continue and it'll roll you right into lesson 2. Lesson 2 has some content, has a video that you can watch to sort of show the process of getting started on Facebook. It goes through terms. And this is sort of interactive because you can click the plus and it shows you the different features and so forth that are part of that. And then it goes into how to create a Facebook account, all of the information for that, and then just exploring it. And students, if they have this pulled up on their laptop, can sort of be looking and flipping back and forth between this. The one thing I will say is the interface on Facebook changes often. I can't even tell you if this is 100% the exact same interface that's live right now. That's the challenge you'll see with that. But that being said, I don't think it's radically different at the moment on desktop to where that wouldn't be still relevant. But they're able to see all these things and interact with them in real time on their own level. That to me is huge. You could walk around the room and guide them and all of that, but you could also have this plugged up on the screen and be able to share this and show this in class. And to be real, I can't think of a quicker and easy way to have a resource for your students than this, to be able to dive in and be able to do that. Here, we've got a section that shows them how to use Facebook on mobile devices, and where to download it and that sort of thing. And then there's even a really cool thing where they even show you about this Facebook for every phone. So you don't have a smartphone, how can you connect and that sort of thing. And then they go into the specific platforms and what that sort of looks like. And then you can continue through on the Facebook training. But I just thought that was as good a resource as I've seen on anything that's out there that you can use. And then what you can do is just cruise all the way back to the main screen and go, okay, we've done a Facebook training, we've got that completed. You could have students work on that on their own. You could come back to LinkedIn, which is something we covered a little while back, and have students go through that, especially if they're in the job hunt right now. And they could go through and look at that. YouTube, I find this one to be an interesting one that people sort of know how to use, but not really. But spend some time showing how YouTube can work for them and what it is and how it works and all of that. And then be able to lead students through understanding all of this, whether that's in class with you going through the content, or whether that's the student just going through self-paced and then having a review with students, in a future class down the line. However that looks, you've got such a good resource here at your disposal to be able to pull all this together. And to be real, social media is just one of many things that they cover in this training through here that you could be pulling in and making use of. We'll probably dive into some of this one as we wrap up our series the next time when we dive into some of the Microsoft Office products and how to make use of those. But there's so much in here. And that's what I really wanted to focus on today, was just to help you understand that this resource is free and available to you here. It's as good as anything without you having to go in and create your own content and everything like that. And I'd be one that I'd be bookmarking, and maybe once a month have a session with your students in class where you're helping them understand one of the topics in here, and you'll do an overview with them for a bit, and then just let them go through the lessons that are in each of these tutorials on their own, and to be able to then sort of navigate through from there. And then maybe circle back the following week and ask what they've learned and how they've been able to put some of this to use, and questions that they might have in using it, because asking those questions publicly is another great way for learning as well. So really, that's all I have today. It was very quick and to the point. The whole goal was just to share with you that there are these resources, that you've got some of these tools that you can utilize to plug in class. And I would say the big one is, don't run off and create your own curriculum when you've got resources like this that are out there and can be useful. So, Jen, any questions or anything else that we should talk about or think about today on this?
I love the content thing that you did at the very beginning. What was it called again?
The map.
The map. Yes, I think we need to do that for our membership.
Yeah, that would be a good one. It would be useful. We could have a form to do a survey.
Yeah.
And that sort of thing. This concept map here, right?
If we could somehow do that with our membership, so that we know how to reach them in the areas that we need to.
Yeah. And I might suggest that the best way maybe and that can be done with the students too, is to create a form. It could be a Google form on a website or something like that. And allow, ask the questions, how many of you use Facebook? And just sort of guide them through a series of questions to understand what social media usage is. Because you're doing it for two reasons. One reason is you want to understand what your students, members, and that are currently doing, but that profile is important to be able to reach future. And one thing I was going to say, I've heard a couple of things recently about how some programs are using TikTok as a way to find new students. And that's something I'm going to put on the shelf for the moment, simply because I want to sort of work out a few more things around it. But it could be something that's really useful to drive new opportunities for students to find your program. It could be done in various languages. It can be done quickly and easily and be out there with the intention of educating people that, hey, here is a solution to learn English. Here is a solution to get my high school diploma. Here is a solution to get a certification and that in your community. And that sort of thing will get shared. And the way TikTok is doing it, I just think there's some cool applications there. And so we'll work on some stuff for that for down the line. But yes, I think that is, you're right, Jen. I think that could be useful on a lot of levels to understand where people are.
Well, with the Adult Education and Family Literacy Week coming up as well, it's so important to know the differences of what to post where too. And I think,
yeah,
I'm guilty of like, oh, I'm short for time, I'll just post the same thing everywhere. But like you said, you go to different platforms for different things. And the more that we understand that about our students and our members, then the more that we can create content that they really want to see. And maybe the algorithms will help us out then.
Exactly, because if you were to survey and just do a survey to find out why do you go to TikTok? Why do you go to Facebook? Why do you go, and maybe give a selection of choices and then take all that and turn that into some, data results. You'd have a good sense of where they are and why, and it would guide posting content and all that as well. So yeah, always looking at things in terms of like, why are they going there? Yeah. Why are people coming to this platform? I know for myself why, but I don't always know for others necessarily, or at least I'd like confirmation, I think, more than anything with others of like whether my reason is similar to theirs or different. Because ultimately, very often we're not trying to reach to ourselves, we're trying to reach people who are more like our students and our members for different things versus us. And so we've got to take it away from what we think and put it to what they think.
Interesting. We'd like your opinion, I guess. Whenever it comes to social media, do you think there's a difference of post between a post with a picture, a post with a video, and a post with just words?
I mean, yeah, I do. I think there's a big difference. But I think it also depends on the platform, because some platforms don't allow much in the way of words, or words are less significant. But I will find that unless there's something that catches my eye, if I'm scrolling through on certain, especially on Facebook, let's say, and it's just text, it's probably not going to stand out as much as if it's text and an image. The problem with a video on like a platform like you have to have that on some of the platforms, right? Yeah. But on Facebook or Instagram, a video starts playing automatically. You might miss a key element if you weren't paying attention, and now you look down and you're like, what is that? I have no idea. Whereas a still image, you can sort of put everything in. I do like the image probably best, but I'd see a place for video as well. But text by itself is, I think, quickly becoming skippable. That's the word I want to use, skippable.
That's a good word. And I think the algorithms skip them as well. Yeah. If my friends do make posts of just words, I won't see it for 3, 4, or 5 days. It'll say 5 days ago they said this. And
yeah, you're like, what? Well, that's often the thing. And the other thing is you want to get people commenting on stuff, because that also helps you to get visibility and get new eyes on it. Or because something was commented enough by people I know, it shows up in my what I'm seeing in front of me versus something that was put out there and nobody said a word. So the way you put it together, it should engender feedback and comment, not just to be read and go, oh, that's great, and move on. Yeah. Another piece of it is to think of content in those terms.
Well, that's one thing that you may or may not have seen. Whenever it comes to conference, we have a contest going on. It's just called the Retro Video Contest because it's kind of like we're bringing back, you remember when we did the lip sync back in 2019? Well, yeah, maybe or maybe not. But
Oh no, I remember, yes.
you're like, oh, I don't want to remember it. But so one of our members asked for us to bring that back in some respects. So we thought, okay, we'll give it a shot. We'll put it out there. There is a video contest. It's a great time to create videos for AEFL week. So
Yep.
you're doing it anyway. So why not go ahead and create a video, put it on the platform. And the biggest part of that contest is for your staff and team members and your fans to like, comment, share those posts so that they get the attraction and get more attention.
Yeah.
Just a little.
So the way I would highly recommend on that, number one, each post in a platform will typically have a link you can create, so you can share that. So you could grab the link and send it in an email and ask people to go in if they have accounts and like, comment, and that sort of thing. So that's one thing to do. Another thing would be to use some clever hashtagging to where you're sharing the hashtag out with people, and when they search for that, your video comes up as well, so they can find you. So there's a couple of different things like that, but the hashtagging is important because that's a way for other people to find your content at times, not just for people So those are a couple of other things to think about with that.
That is something that I have certainly been teaching since I took this position, is to utilize IAACE. It's so much easier whenever you hashtag us to find your stuff, because when I search for that hashtag, then I find all the people that tagged us somehow. So I
mean, it's like if you're looking in a room for everybody who's wearing a red shirt, and it's like written on the inside of their shirt, and you're colorblind, it's not as helpful as if, like, all of a sudden on the back, written in big letters, is red. You'll be able to find all the red shirt people, even if you're colorblind, at that point. And that's sort of how that works and why that's important.
And you bring up a valid point. We get trapped in that this is the way we think. This is the way we think. We all think this way, thinking of how you're thinking. And that's absolutely not true. Everybody makes different connections, have different perspectives. And the more that you can expand your way of thinking by hashtagging, and so many options, different platforms.
Yeah, definitely. Well, hopefully it gets you thinking a little bit about what you can do and how you can broach this subject with students in a way that opens up the discussion, gets some learning, and gives them opportunities to understand the resources that are out there a little bit more.
Absolutely. So I think that's it for this Digital Skills Lab on Social Media Essentials. What do you think, Mel?
Yep, that wraps it up. I'm sure people will have lots more questions. It's a very, very, very big topic. We're just we're just cracking the door a little way for you to begin to start the journey.
Well, if you haven't gotten enough, don't worry. You can get more of Neil Richmond in Digital Skills Lab. He's going to offer 2 sessions at conference at the end of the month. And we always have a monthly Digital Skill Lab. What are we talking about next month?
We'll have Digital Skills Lab live at the conference. On that. And I think, let me just check here. Next topic for us, I think we're doing, like I mentioned there, I just want to confirm before I say for sure. A little bit of music playing in the background and that sort of thing. Well, I can't find it quickly here, but I'm pretty sure what we decided was to do some stuff on Microsoft Office, and does that ring a bell with you on that? So I think I have it here. Yeah.
Correct. We got it.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. So
That's not creative.
Microsoft Office Essentials is what we were going to deal with. And that'll be our last one for this year.
Yes, because we're going to take November and December off to recoup.
Yeah. And we'll pick up in the new year, we'll pick up with some new things. And obviously there's always new things coming on down the road.
Always new things whenever it comes to digital skills and digital equity. So next time, we'll see ya.
Yeah.